Hey everyone, hope you guys are enjoying Monster Hunter in whichever fashion you're choosing to play it as. And today I'm going to go over some really interesting and surprising news that Capcom seemingly revealed that they recently actually broke Monster Hunter World and Iceborne after their latest patch. And it's not necessarily making players very happy to find out that, well, Capcom decided to kind of like break the game and then all of a sudden try to fix it. Interestingly enough, after a patch that a lot of people didn't even know or even think that it was completely necessary at the end of the day. If you haven't been keeping up, basically Capcom about a week or so ago decided to kind of drop hot a patch, a very subtle patch it seemed like originally, where they decided to kind of make a Monster Hunter World and Iceborne Steam Deck verified. And now, of course, it entails them looking into the service options for the game, tweaking some options for essentially anyone who tries to boot up the game directly through their Steam Deck, which was already available. You could have been able to play the game through your Steam Deck already, but now by them making it verified, they tweak some things, some parameters, some options so it runs well. They adjusted some things via the AI. These are all things that I spoke about in a separate video. I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for you guys to check that out. So they basically brought it essentially to a brand new console, which is, you know, that's all well and good. Some players had already been using mods through their Steam Deck to be able to get it run properly. There were some performance issues there that Capcom kind of haphazardly addressed, and a couple of other things. But at the end of the day, it is Steam Deck verified, therefore it should be able to run a little bit better if you happen to own a Steam Deck and you want to be able to play Monster Hunter World and Iceborne within it. So within said patch, they also introduced a brand new bug where monster icons and several other smaller issues started to pop up. I'm going to be trying to overlay an image here from one of the users posted on Twitter, where you can clearly see some monsters icons just simply kind of disappeared out of nowhere. This was not necessarily, and according to Capcom themselves, they said that if we were using the high resolution texture pack, you were going to be impacted, but a lot of other players confirmed that they were not necessarily using the high texture pack and they were still seeing the icons disappear. So as of recently, the official Twitter account basically confirmed that Hunters, a fix has been deployed to address the issue from Monster Hunter World's Iceborne's recent version 15.20.00 update, where certain icons and textures would not display properly if the high resolution texture pack was installed. Thank you for your patience and support. Now, of course, this is only integral to the PC version of the game. This is not touching any of the PlayStation, Xbox consoles of the game. That is not an issue. You should be concerned there because, again, this patch was only available for PC due to the Steam Deck verification options. So whatever it is that they decided to do, kind of tweaked a little bit with the icons, the Monster Hunter icons, and now they've gone ahead and addressed that through a brand new patch. In their official blog update where they're describing the patch, I believe this is in the Steam page, they mentioned that a bug fix was introduced with a fix an issue for version 15.20.00, where a certain icons and textures would not display properly if a high resolution texture pack was installed. If you already have the high resolution texture pack installed, its data, roughly about 9 gigabytes in size, which is no surprise to PC users, will be downloaded again upon booting up the game. They apologize for any sort of inconvenience and thank you for your continued support. So they are going to be addressing that through this brand new hotfix patch that is just simply addressing this icon issue. But again, even through their own wording, they mentioned that the high resolution texture pack was the culprit according to them. But like I said before, many other players already reported that even without the high resolution texture packs, icons and other seemingly like armors and stuff like that would not necessarily display properly as well. I saw another user mention that there was some flickering going on with like armor pieces kind of like disappearing on their characters. A couple of other players pointed out that icons for like different items in their inbox were not necessarily showcased as well. Someone did specifically point out that there were some performance issues on their end, but they weren't necessarily sure if it was introduced due to the latest 15.20 patch. Again, a couple of issues were introduced. A lot of players, and this is where it gets into that whole, a lot of players not necessarily being too sure why they were even trying to verify the game for the Steam Deck in the first place. This is something that there was a little bit of even a discussion in my previous video in the comments, where I saw a couple of people interestingly talking about the fact that, you know, the game hadn't been patched for a few months, maybe up to a year or so. There weren't any real updates happening, and then all of a sudden they updated just so they can actually make it verified for the Steam Deck. Now again, the game played on the Steam Deck, maybe not as best as it could. There were some UI issues and adjustments that they needed to make, but it was, for the most part, let's say 75-80% of people were playing it without any sort of issues. And then for them to just try to get that verification, Steam Deck verification, under the game's profiles on the Steam page, so they could try to sell it to players who might just have bought a Steam Deck and maybe they just want to check out the game. They see that confirmation that yes, it's indeed verified, therefore they should be able to have no issues. In order to be able to squeeze out a couple of extra sales, and by their attempt to adjust the fonts and UI fixes and stuff like that, they went ahead and broke a couple of other things that PC players traditionally, who may not be interested in playing through the Steam Deck, ended up seeing the bad end of that, getting the wrong end of the stick, if you want to put it that way, due to this latest patch, and something that Capcom themselves should have been able to see outright as they were basically patching up and addressing their games, but simply just kind of left it alone. Thankfully, players were able to voice some things out, and a couple of these issues have been addressed, but not necessarily all of them. Again, they still mentioned that you need the high-resolution texture pack to be able to be impacted, but again, a couple of other players have already said, even without said texture pack, they were still facing the issues. So if they are actually forcing players to be able to download the high texture pack, and that's not something that they necessarily want to be able to have in their game, because maybe it takes up too much memory, whatever the case is on your PC, that varies from person to person. It could be one of those situations that it could not necessarily be solved for those not using the high texture pack on the PC end of things. So they introduced a bug that is just going to stay there forever for no good reason. Again, hopefully they maybe reissue another hot patch or something addressing the extra issues that are still not being fixed, those armor flickering issues, maybe other icons not necessarily appearing, maybe extra performance problems that weren't necessarily available there, and addressing those icons issues if you're not using the high resolution texture pack, because again, some players were being impacted in that regard. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today regarding this latest fix patch notice for the hotfix 15.20.00, which they didn't actually jump into 2.1, which is interesting. They probably should have done that, but they're just calling it a hotfix for this brand new version of the game. But if you're brand new to my channel though, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya!